In a world with so many stories, from movies to television, and of course, comic books, comes a story that's only available in one of the three mediums I listed earlier. What you are about to see in this trailer is a character debut like you've never seen before. And now, we are just buying dramatic time by repeating the same shots that you just got done watching. We are truly very sorry about that. And now, introducing Rice Christopher!
Recorded live from the secret underground lair of Crimson Cowl Comics and Collectibles, this is the Crimson Cowl Comic Club Podcast.
The following issues may contain spoilers. Let's go, Comic Club. I'm Anthony.
I'm Kirby.
And I'm Katie.
Welcome to issue number 308 of the Crimson Cowl Comic Club podcast. Every time we record, we talk about comic books. On this week's show, we're going to have weekly reviews. That's where we go back and forth, talk about the books that we've been reading. They could be new, they could be old, but we're going to talk about them there. Then we're going to do part 2 of our previews preview over in the news segment. And that's where we go into the independent preview catalog for the independent publishers, the merchandise, the apparel, the collectibles. Talk about the stuff solicited in August 2024 for products coming out in October and beyond. No club discussion this time, but a quick reminder, upcoming books, Deadpool Wolverine, WW3 number 3, What If Donald Duck Became Wolverine, What If Donald Duck Became Thor, Marvel Zombies, Dawn of Decay, Minor Arcana, Batman, Full Moon. Those are some upcoming club discussions, and maybe we'll find some new ones over in the news. But in order to figure that out, we have to go through the weekly reviews. First up for me is a brand new graphic novel called Let's Go, Coco. When Coco joins the school basketball team, she's ready to rock. Joining the team means new friends which she's desperate for, but it also means dealing with bossy teammates, confusing crushes, and less than flattering new nicknames. And Coco suspects that when the team's all-star player Maddie calls her Shrimp, it's not actually a joke. Coco realizes she's going to need some new moves on and off the court, but her resilience is to put the ultimate test when a courtside catastrophe threatens to put an end to the new world she's worked so hard to be part of. This is available in both softcover and hardcover editions. This graphic novel is done by Coco Fox. Coco Fox is an artist that I became aware of through Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago. They hosted Coco for an event. I don't know if she was doing like an art show or art seminar type of thing. I think she's done some kind of like smaller work and strips and zines and just designs and things like that. But the main thing is that she is now, this is her first book, a full on graphic novel that she wrote and illustrated. Let's go, Coco. So when I saw that she was coming out with this book, I was super excited. I love her drawing style. I love her personality. Coco herself is a huge Weird Al fan. She loves Rocky Horror. She is kind of runs, and I don't know if she moderates, but she participates in a bunch of local to her, like local theater events where they have people coming up if they're singing songs or doing poetry or doing slideshows showing off art. A bunch of cool random stuff that they do, a lot of really cool community things that she's really into and supports. And I just love everything about her attitude, her spirit, and personality. So when I knew that she was doing this book, I was ready to dive in to see more of that. So yeah, this book is about a young girl named Coco who is unfortunately having to say goodbye to a friend as her friend is moving away. And it's one of those scenarios. I think they're in a grade school age. One of those scenarios where your best friend is moving away, and now you just can't imagine life without them. And Coco is trying to decide what she's going to do. She's being sad. They have a plan about writing emails to each other and talking about being on the phone and watching SNL every Saturday night. But lives get busy as the friend goes off and makes new friends. Coco is herself is trying to get in some activities. She joins the basketball team. She's trying to make friends. She's trying to fit in. Anything that can basically distract her from um, of missing her best friend. As I go through this, the rest of the review here, I'll kind of show off some art examples of Coco's work here. She labels this as a sorta true story by Coco Fox. So there's definitely some elements in here that is you could definitely tell from her personality, just from what I know of her online. There's even there's a moment here where I think Coco's wearing a UHF shirt, which is Weird Al's movie from the '80s. So that was a cool thing just to see that, just knowing her love for Weird Al as well. And yeah, so this story is a slice of life. Young teen girls. I'm trying to remember what the age range was on this, but a young girl basically trying to find her way to fit in. Trying to stay connected with her old friend who has moved away while also trying to make new friends and fitting into certain dynamics and social roles and stuff like that, and ultimately trying to find a place on this basketball team. And yeah, so this kind of goes through. We meet a lot of the other supporting characters and kind of going through crushes and relationships and all of that kind of stuff and sleepovers, all of the cliche stuff that you would expect from. Here's a good double splash page there, just kind of showing off the art example here. And yeah, I think that'll be all that I'll show. Oh, I just happened to turn to the her wearing the UHF shirt, which is only in one scene. There's something I want to kind of cover from it here, so I'm just going to show this portion here. But yeah, so it was kind of cool. She just literally just says UHF, but that was one of those things being like, all right, this is where the comes in on a true story aspect. But yeah, this was a lot of fun, lots of laughs. Some sad moments, some realistic moments like that and everything. But this is a really fun read. These are my kind of books. I dig the kind of slice of life stuff here and this kind of cartooning style. And the other, like, normally this is something that, like, first, second books I talk about a lot, has a lot of these kind of books that, because of the publisher, I'm really into that stuff. This one here is by Harper Alley. Harper Alley did this, but this was a awesome book that kind of fits in line with those first, second books. So all those other things I've talked about in the past with similar kind of themes and age ranges and elements and stuff like that, this fits right on the shelf next to all those. So this is an excellent book. Just came out. It's fresh off the printers for either softcover or hardcover. That is, let's go, Coco. Kirby?
Yeah, Mangoat and the Bunnyman. Beware the Pigman. This is done by Joe Brusha, Jordi Perez, Walter Pereira, and Taylor Esposito. Yes, the time has come for the return of the world's greatest monster hunters, Mangoat and the Bunnyman. in an all-new adventure that promises to be the most explosive chapter yet. Demons, check. Monster hunters, check. Bat squatches? Sure. If only life were as simple as a super informative checklist. But what happens when the little pigman goes to the market and decides to cause a little havoc for our favorite bushy-tailed rabbit man and his beer can eating cryptid best friend? This was another great story line set up by our two characters. This is a 3-issue run. It's basically got them on a demon hunt separate from the pigman, but we get to meet our pigman character, and he's basically kind of misunderstood, but yet he's working with a main demon that's kind of controlling him. So it starts out with some kids going into this old abandoned house. Well, it's kind of more like a mansion, actually. It's pretty big, but while they're walking through it, they come across a pentagram on the ground and stuff. So they're like, something's going on, Satan worshippers or something. And all of a sudden, the pig man just jumps out, scares them, chases them out of the house just to scare him off. He's not going to eat him. He's not wanting to eat him. He's not into that, but yet the stories based around him have him killing people, and that's why people have been going missing and stuff. They're blaming it on the pigman. I mean, it doesn't help that he's got a pentagram on his tongue and stuff like that. But the character that's controlling him, I wanted to get a good picture of him, but he's basically forcing him to go off, and he wants him to go kill people for him and stuff like that. But Pigman really doesn't want to, but yet this demon can control the pigman's mind every now and then. But our characters are off on a different hunt for the bat squatch. And Goatman doesn't believe it's a bat squatch. Bunnyman thinks it's a bat squatch. They don't know what they're going to come across. But we come across this gal, this blue vampire type character, and she jumps out and starts attacking him. And Bunnyman goes into the back part of the area while Goatman's all ready to take her out. And Bunnyman finds out that she's just protecting her eggs. And he had this cute little bat squatch that just popped out of one of the eggs. And I don't want to ruin it, but a bunch of other hunters show up and some things happen. And they're after the bat squatch character also. They're also wanting to go after the goat man or man goat and bunny man. So they're basically all in conflict with this character and stuff. But they go through that part of the storyline, and then it jumps over to the Pigman storyline, and we see quite a few characters that I don't think. Well, this gal, I believe we did meet one other time, but they're trying to get her to help out with our little Squatch character, and she's too busy because she's relocating a bunch of Yetis because they have some babies that they're also dealing with and stuff. So it's like you get a lot of cryptid stuff in this book and in the other storylines from them, which is a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes and finishes off. But yeah, this is a great starter story with a lot of different people and characters in it. So definitely worth the money for this. This is probably one of the better storylines of all of them so far, but I've had fun with each one. So,
Cool.
And that's by Xenoscope.
Excellent. Now it's time to take a trip to a galaxy far, far away with our Jedi ambassador, Katie. What you got for us?
All right, good to be back in the Star Wars universe this week from Marvel and Lucasfilm. We have Star Wars, Scoundrels, Rebels, and the Empire. This is a trade paperback collecting 6 stories that came out last year to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. I was actually really pleasantly surprised by this. Sorry about that glare. Is that too bad? I guess I have a halo. I was pleasantly surprised about this. Oftentimes, anniversary issues can be kind of gimmicky, and they're often one and dones. This was actually a really fun book. I enjoyed all six stories in here. I think if you're a big fan of the original trilogy, this is definitely one you'll want to read. It, picks out some of the background characters we know and love throughout Return of the Jedi. Like we have the Max Rebo Band, the former protocol droid at Jabba's palace before C-3PO picks up. We have a story about an Imperial who kind of got caught up in things and was trying to help and ended up getting scapegoated for a lot of problems. We get some stories with little baby Ewoks, which is very precious. Have a classic Lando story, which I appreciated because they used the 1980s color scheme, so I enjoyed that a lot. As somebody who likes those original era Marvel comics, it felt a lot like that. We have a story with the rebellion focusing on Mon Mothma and Poe Dameron's parents, so a nice callback for comic fans. Good to see them in there. And then the final story, like I mentioned, is about the Max Rebo Band, so it's showing everything that happened leading up to the battle on the sail barge at the Sarlacc pit from Max Rebo's perspective. I liked all of these. There wasn't for me a single bad one in the bunch. The only one that I liked a little bit less was the rebellion story with Mon Mothma because I've actually never liked that character. Nothing against, the actresses who have played her. I just have never clicked with that character. Um, I thought that the story with the Imperial, so kind of the idea was the Empire took over a lot of businesses on individual planets and basically coerced the families into working for them and unofficially, officially owned the businesses. And so this guy was basically an olive branch sent by his family to show, yes, we're definitely loyal to the Empire. Please don't kill us and our whole entire family. And so he's on the Death Star and is doing kind of menial tasks, and he doesn't get the hint that maybe there's certain questions he shouldn't be asking and certain places he shouldn't be going. And total proof of, being really good at your job just usually means you end up getting more work. And so he starts working on the codes for the Death Star, and he ends up getting in trouble because nobody's supposed to know about this. They're not supposed to know that this exists and that they're building another Death Star and that it's a weapon. And he doesn't make it, unfortunately, but that's the reality of the Empire for you. And then the Ewok story is super cute because it's showing from the perspective of little baby Ewoks. They're like telling campfire stories to each other. So one looks a lot like the Ewoks version of the Grinch, which I thought was super sweet. Would love to see that. And then there's one where the little Ewok's trying to scare all his buddies, and it's this really dark, spooky story that's all in black, white, and red. I feel like they're foreshadowing that we're going to get an Ewoks black, white, and red comic. I really liked this a lot. Like I said, I was surprised. I didn't get the single issues just because, budget reasons. But this retailed for $30. I actually bought it secondhand for like $18. And I think, if you like the original trilogy, this is a good one to read. I'm not going to say it's a must read, but it is good. And then if you aren't deep into the world of Star Wars comics because it gets overwhelming financially and mentally, I think this is also a good one because you can read it, you can get the point, and you don't have to have all that background and then just, move on to the next thing you enjoy in the fandom. And if you like it, it's a great way to launch into the other Star Wars comics. But I was very impressed with Star Wars, Scoundrels, Rebels, and the Empire celebrating 40 years of Return of the Jedi. And that's my review. Punch it, Chewie.
I always love that punch of Chewie at the end. All right, here we go. To kind of stay in an alien sci-fi sort of space, the next one I'm talking about is Lights in the Sky. Ray Arthur is the host of Lights in the Sky, a paranormal radio show. After years of dubious calls about UFOs, Bigfoot, and conspiracies, he's become cynical skeptic, a cynical skeptic to all things alien. Dawn Estrella is Ray's biggest fan, and she has an incredible claim. Her baby was taken by extraterrestrials. She needs Ray's help to get her back, no matter the cost. This comic is done by a recognizable name, Winston Gambro. Winston Gambro, we've had here on the Crimson Cowl Comic Club. This was one of his most recent Kickstarters, and I got to meet up with him yet again at Fan Expo in Chicago. And I held this book for the first time because he had a bunch like stacked at home ready to ship out. And once I was holding, he's like, "Oh, do you want to just save me on shipping? You just take it now." I'm like, "All right, done deal." So I had my Kickstarter pickup right there in person, and yeah. So this is Lights in the Sky. Um, this is a very uniquely designed book. Winston Gambro is a graphic designer, and you see all of that come into play in this story. First couple pages just promoting about this fake world that he has set up about Ray Arthur, who is the host of Lights in the Sky, the radio show, and he's going to be appearing at this convention. And it just has some information and some programming, just kind of showing off that he's going to be at this event, the Roswell Alien Con in 1997. And it also serves as the credits page right there on the opening. So it's just awesome design work to just get like this content while also serving as a credits page at the same time. Um, this book is structured from jumping from like the transcripts of radio calls of Ray getting the calls from these people and talking about their experiences and the conspiracies and such. And the way that is done is very cool. It's like you're reading a script for a TV show or a movie, or hey, even a comic book, and you're just getting the dialogue, but you're getting all of these pictures and reference points, and it's all just kind of like documented evidence. The way it's kind of structured and pasted there, like their case files and stuff. And what's cool is that, and then it jumps into some comic books, and we jump back and forth when we're seeing Ray at the Comic Con, and we see that he is being approached by Dawn. Dawn is his number one fan who calls into the radio show, and she is the one that um, is basically wanting to get his help because she claims that her baby was taken by aliens. And he's in a state where he's just not buying it. He's tired. He's had enough of this. He's meeting people, signing autographs, and he just doesn't want to buy into all of the craziness when it comes to alien conspiracies and things like that. But she insists, and this is kind of the setup, so I'll kind of leave it here. But she's insisting on this is real. She's missing. I need your help. I need your expertise and stuff like that. And once again, the story just keeps kind of going back and forth between these radio calls, and there's just some it's just great conversational piece, and the design of going back and forth with that is just really cool. This is done in black and white. I had the pleasure of being a proofreader on this sometime last year, and I got to read through this a couple times, looking just for things and suggestions and spelling stuff and everything like that. So it was one thing to read it in PDF form, but then it was cool to now hold it in my hands here as a Kickstarter backed project. And yeah, it was super cool. You don't need to know anything about these characters or this world. I would think this is a good introduction for people if you don't normally read comic books. And my screen, every time I've been doing this, it gives me a yellow tone. So I just have to do this to reset. And now I'm back, everybody. So if you saw me do that during Kirby's interview, I'm not trying to like take over the show. I try to do it nonchalantly to reset my color scheme. It's almost like there's lights in the sky over here. So if you aren't a comic book reader and you're stumbled across this show, you're fans of friends of any of us, and you like aliens and you like the conspiracies and the Roswell stuff and all that Area 51 and even into just all the other mysterious stuff they talk about with Bigfoot and UFOs and everything that ties into that kind of world. I think this is a great read for you because it gives you prose text in here with the radio calls. It gives you comic book panels that are all very creepy and darker tone type of drawings, and I think this is a great example for someone who comes in from loving whether it's just straight up alien fiction or televisions and movies, but haven't picked up comics. I think this is a great example of getting somebody into the medium of comic books. So this is Lights in the Sky. This was originally Kickstarted, but there are copies that he has. So all you have to do is reach out to Winston Gambro, go to his winstongambro.com that leads to his Gumroad page and all that information, or just reach out to him and you can get your hands on this. But yeah, this is really good. It's kind of it's a like graphic novella, kind of a one shot, oversized. Maybe it's like 2 to 3 issues of a comic book as one story, just to kind of show you the size. And yeah, that is it. Oh, and it does give you a cool lot of information in the back for some declassified information. So I'll just leave it at that. You get some stuff in there. This was excellent. Lights in the Sky by Winston Gambro. Check it out.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to getting that. I would have kept it with the yellow hue because it gives you that feel for the old school alien type, Area 51 type feel to it.
It would have worked with my Coco book too, because it's got a yellow cover. So this whole episode could have been yellow tone, and I screwed it up. But all right, got one more review.
I got Spawn Kills Every Spawn, issue 1 of 5. This was my favorite Spawn ever. This is my new one that I'm gonna have to read anything that comes out. I hope they do more with this character, but we'll see what happens. But this is a wonderfully done parody style book, of course. Just all kinds of goofiness, but it's done by John Layman, Rob Sketchcraft Duenas, Robert Nugent, and John Layman again. Then a few different cover artists. But yeah, our character starts out with him just annihilating Spawn and a bunch of other spawns. And you're like, what the heck? He's killing every spawn the first 5 pages. It's like you see him take out. It's like she spawn, the regular spawn, medieval spawn, gunslinger spawn. He's just going right down the list, and you're just seeing them all get wiped out. And it's just, and then it pops into the actual story, and we see our spawn character, the main spawn character. He's just a little spawn. He's just a mini version of Spawn, and he's set up at a Comic-Con, and you can see his pricing. It went from $90 all the way down to free, and no one would stand in his line. But there's all these other Spawn characters around him and stuff, and they got a full line of people with them. There's just every type of parody you can think of. There's like a Savage Dragon Spawn. I mean, there's just so many different types of spawns laid out in this wonderful 2-page spread at a Comic-Con, and they all got full lines, and his line's empty, and he's like trying to figure out what's up, gets mad, goes off, and some cosplaying fans come across and see him, and they're like, oh, he's so cute, and they start dressing him up like Gunslinger Spawn. Just messing with him, and don't even care about his original character, and just he gets so frustrated. He goes home, tells his mom that everything went wrong at the con. She's like, well, I hope you didn't spend a bunch of money. He's like, well, I didn't spend any money. I was set up to make money and do signings, but of course I didn't make no money either. But you see him, and there's his ma right there. There's him without his mask. Goes in his bedroom, which is all Spawn stuff, of course, and decides to just start trashing everything, burning everything. And she comes in, punishes him, and he's basically on punishment for a while, but he's got plans to go into the world and just start hunting spawns. So I'm really looking forward to where this is going to go. You got the wanted list for issue 2 on the cover there, and it just, he's all set up with all kinds of weaponry and stuff. But yeah, this was a blast. I could just read this and quit all the other Spawn runs as far as I'm concerned. but I don't know if it'll go beyond the 5 issues, but this is fun. So
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. That looks great.
yeah, that was way better than I expected.
That Comic-Con double splash page, that would be an awesome poster. So
Yeah, that would be a cool poster. And then I might be able to figure everything else out. That's all tiny. So
awesome, awesome. And you just had the one, Katie, correct, for the weekly? Good. All right, so that is going to do it for the weekly reviews, but we do have another segment, and that is the news.
And now, the news.
Welcome to the previews preview. This is part 2. We're going to jump into the independent catalogs, and we can just jump around wherever we want. I'll kick it off here. This is by Antarctic Press. We are talking about A Tiny Island Over the Kingdom Under the Sea one-shot. From the writer of Interstellar Dust. Inspired by the classic Japanese fairy tale Urashima Tar, a young woman discovers an underwater kingdom that foretells 3 possible futures, but each one may come with a deadly consequence. An epic fantasy tale that's not to be missed. I don't know anything about this. I don't know the creators. I don't know the source material. It's a one shot. I like the title of A Tiny Island Over the Kingdom Under the Sea. So yeah, I'm just really curious on that. It's a one shot, so I'll see what it is, but looks interesting. That was my first one there. Kirby?
my first one is John Carpenter's presents Storm Kids, Once Upon a Grub. I'm kind of confused at the moment. I thought Jeff Belkey did colors and stuff on this, but I could be wrong. We got Neo Edmond and Walter Carzone. Meet Grub, a whimsical booger troll with a heart as big as his love for Halloween. Though Grub embraces his unique appearance, he holds a secret dream of becoming a regular human child. His chance arrives one Halloween night when he meets a wily witch in the woods. With a wish in his heart, Grub embarks on a thrilling adventure. Along the way, he befriends Sprite, a valiant elf warrior, Pinky, a giant fearsome frog, and Whisper, a ghostly woodland spirit, each with their own heartfelt wishes. Together, they must find the spirit of Halloween before the clock strikes midnight. Will Grub and his newfound friends have their wishes granted, or will their journey teach them the true meaning of friendship and self-acceptance? But yeah, I thought Jeff posted something about that, and now I'm double guessing myself.
Yeah, Storm Kid sounds familiar, but yeah. All right, Katie?
Okay, so over at Viz Media, we have Kaiju number 8, volume 11. This is by Naoya Matsumoto, and they are also doing the art as well. 5 identified class kaiju created by number 9 gather in the Eastern Division's area, specifically designed to eliminate the Defense Force main players. These kaiju have drawn every division into the struggle. So volume 10 came out in June, so you should definitely pick that up as well. But there was a big kaiju attack, and the Defense Force is scrambling to get to all the areas that really need their help. And the big bad of the series, Kaiju number 9, has been strategically planting kaiju throughout the country that are uniquely able to take out some of the best fighters in the Defense Force. So sounds like volume 11, we're going to see some big kaiju battles, of course, and hopefully all of our heroes from the Defense Force survive. This is available October 2nd, and it's $11.99. Check it out. It's been one of my favorites this past year.
Cool. The title of this caught me. Bad Kids Press presents The Lumberjack Bride. There was an old ghost story of a scorned lumberjack left at the altar on her wedding day. This was told to scare children around the campfire so they wouldn't wander off at night. There couldn't really be an axe-wielding ghost roaming these woods and looking for heads to chop, could there? So yeah, this is The Lumberjack Bride. I don't remember if this is a one-shot or mini-series or what, but I'm definitely getting issue number 1 of The Lumberjack Bride. Kirby?
We got Dwellings All Hallows Eve special.
Yeah.
If you haven't read any of this before, it's been really fun by Jay Stevens, kind of a old school, kind of Harvey comics and stuff like that, characters, but put in a adult setting. But we got Jay Stevens working on this, writer as artist. Welcome back to Elwich, the town where every piece of candy is just a razor blade, waiting to be revealed. This Halloween, return to the terrifying, tranquil streets that Dwellings calls home, as seen through the eyes of visitor Wolfgang Legrand. But Wolfgang is no ordinary tourist. He's convinced he's actually a seasoned vampire hunter, and his delusion has drawn him to Elwick to drive a stake through the once unassuming town's thriving, sanguinarian, goth subculture. But when Wolfgang meets Emmeline Mementa, a young woman similarly possessed by the idea that she's a real vampire, irrational faith may be the only thing capable of stopping a mass murder in the making. But yeah, these have been a lot of fun. So I was happy to see a one shot for Halloween.
And we mentioned Winston Gambro in the last segment. Winston was the graphic designer on the collection of Dwellings. We've talked about Dwellings, and then they came out with a collection of it that he actually got to design. So there's another little connection here. Katie?
Okay, so over at Titan Comics manga division, we have Elegant Courtly Life of a Tea Witch, Volume 1. It's by Ameko uh, Kareudo, and art is by Yori Fuji. This caught my eye because it just looks like super fun and really cute and cozy. I love tea. It says for fans of fantasy and magical girl manga. This sounds like a nice, just chill, hopefully, relaxing book. It says all she really wants is a quiet life, creating gorgeous displays for gift shop widows. However, she's slowly drawn into a world of intrigue as her incredible powers of transformation make her the gossip of the court and the object of affection for a naive princess. It's telling us the story of Remy, the lowly tea witch, using her magic to brew the finest cup of tea for all the noble lords and ladies. Might be a little young for me, but I am up for trying it anyway. It is available November 27th, 2024. I think that's Thanksgiving week. And it costs $12.99. Check it out.
Excellent. Next one here is Eat, Sleep, Reap, Repeat. Let's see here. An entry-level reaper at Death and Company, a company that oversees the delicate balance between life and death, Roger, with his laid-back attitude, navigates his days snacking and napping, bringing an unconventional charm to the otherwise somber business of soul collection. This is a bumper-sized first issue of 60 three-panel strips. So yeah, there are three-panel strips, and there's 60 of them total. Eat, sleep, repeat. Yeah, I'm very curious. This looks like a lot of fun here. Here's the cover. I like the title. I like the design. I like that it's a collection of comic strips. Don't know much about it beyond that, but I will this October. Eat, sleep, reap, repeat. Kirby?
From Oni Press and the Celliverse, we got Sectors, Warriors of Symbion, #1 of 3. We got the teaser in the Nacelliverse teaser book. So I figure for 3 issues I can check it out. But in the farthest reaches of the Nacelliverse, writer Dennis Culver and dazzling artist Raymond Bax transport you to the world of Sector's Warrior of Symbion. Millennia passed on the distant planet Symbion, a genetic experiment failed, and evolution took a strange turn. The result of this cataclysm, a world where insects can grow to monstrous proportions and whose inhabitants have taken on the weird and wondrous characteristics of insects themselves. Telepathically bonded in battle, Sector's warriors unite with their insect companions in the ultimate fight for survival. But yeah, another one that's finally starting up from the Nacelliverse.
Excellent. Katie?
All right, my last pick for this round is Adventure Time Compendium Volume 1 from Oni Press. If you remember, a few months ago, I reviewed an Adventure Time comic, and I thought it was pretty fun. I'd definitely be open to reading some more of those. So they're being reprinted in some oversized volumes, which I appreciate. The writer is Ryan North on all of them with a whole team of artists. And this is following all of your Adventure Time friends, starring Finn and Jake as they uh, do what they do best and punch things and have adventures, of course. This is available October 16th, 2024. It's covering issue 1 through 5, and it will cost $50. Bit of a higher price item, but for 35 issues, that seems like a pretty good deal. I'm interested in this. Adventure Time Compendium Volume 1 from Oni Press and Cartoon Network. And that's my last pick.
Excellent. This one I don't know much about either, but I was intrigued by the gimmick. Faster Than Light 3D Treasury Edition. The world's first 3D treasury size edition features two brand new horrifying stories of the Faster Than Light crew. Glorious 10 by 13 pages in full color 3D and a special Wink B cover. Two different images on the same cover, one per glasses color. This is one you don't want to miss. While I did like the design of the first cover, but having them sell you on that second one, where you get two images on the same glasses with different panels, this is just what the cover B is prior to the 3D treatment. That gimmick alone gets me to check it out, and it's a treasury size 3D version. So once again, I don't know these creators, don't know that title, don't know if it's an existing thing, but I'm here for a gimmick. So that is Faster Than Light 3D Treasury Edition. Kirby?
I was hoping for it, and we got it.
Yeah.
Svengoolie 45th Anniversary Edition. I'm getting both covers. TV horror host Svengoolie celebrates his 45th on-air anniversary and Halloween in scary style with a series of stories written by Sven and all the members of the Sven Squad. Sven and a new set of ghoulish heroes confront the Day of the Doorbell Demons, while Nostalgia Feratu, Gwen Gully, and Imp each appear in their own solo story. This is a must-read for the Halloween season. I'd rather not have just Nostalgia Feratu doing stories, but yeah, we get all three new characters doing their own things. See how they do.
That's on my list as well. This one I am familiar with the team. We have FML #1 by Kelly Sue DeConnick and David Lopez. Let's see here. These are the award-winning creators who brought you Captain Marvel, Bitch Planet, and Wonder Woman Historia. This comes the genre-busting apocalyptic odyssey about a group of metal kids who face a medley of bizarre foes and encounters in Portland, Oregon during a worldwide pandemic. Riley is a teen that sketches out this heavy metal figure with a ballpoint pen between monster movies and band practice. But musical stardom needs to compete with high school, the temper of a former riot girl mother, the morbid obsessions of a goth sister, and the eccentricities of bandmates that threaten to drive them and everyone around him insane. There's a bunch more here too. It's an 8-issue series, but yeah, I like this creative team. I love Kelly Sue DeConnick. This just gives me a cool, like, Stranger Things type of vibe, and I'm probably just saying that because there's just kids on the cover and there's a bike involved. But knowing their lifestyle, their creators, and what they've done in the past, I have confidence that this will be a good read. So that's FML #1 over at Dark Horse. Kirby?
Got Shadow Man and Punk Mambo, Tales from the Dead Side. This is a resurgent tie-in. Written by AJ Ampadu, this supernatural adventure explores the darkest corners of the Valiant universe. Shadow Man and the Dead Sides take center stage in the three weird and wild stories. Dr. Mirage and Punk Mambo embark on a fatal road trip through hell, wrapping up events from the Valentine's Day issue. Hell's a poppin' in this must-read adventure, but they're not going to tell us about the other two stories, but yeah, they got some fun old school Universal Monster covers and stuff. So I'll be picking that up.
Speaking of monsters, Frankie Boy Monster #1. Growing up is hard enough, but it's even harder when you're a reanimated boy also trying to deal with the isolation of a helicopter parent. He's a hero who's more than the sum of his parts. Everything about this, the description, the design, Frankie Boy Monster. Here's your cover. Yep, I'm on board. Once again, a lot of the picks that I'm picking here, I don't know much about, but this is from Cosmic Lion Productions. But yeah, Frankie Boy Monster #1.
This I was happy to see, but the image is scaring me. We got the Toxic Avenger #1. I don't know if they weren't given license for the actual visuals of the Toxic Avenger, but all the covers I've seen are very different. But we'll see. Maybe Lloyd wasn't gonna let him take it, but we'll see what happens. You remember him from the classic films, animated series, and action figures. Now America's grossest icon returns to comics. A train hauling chemical waste derails in Tromaville, New Jersey, transforming bullied teenager Melvin Junko into a massive mop-wielding Toxic Avenger. Yeah, we'll see what happens. It's done by Matt Bors and Fred Harper. Don't know much about them, but we'll see what happens with it.
It's on my list as well. Is there something like design related you're talking about, or what?
Yeah, I mean, the images I've seen so far, nothing is even close to the actual Toxic Avenger. And I know how picky Lloyd Kaufman is with his licensed product, and this being one of his #1s, I was kind of curious.
Is he just too bulky or something, or just kind of?
Yeah, he's more of a very skinny, goofy kid, and
Yeah.
he bulked up a little bit in form after the toxic events, but nothing like this. This guy's got a crooked face and stuff. So
okay, I just want to make sure because I'm like, doesn't he wear like the tutu and all the other iterations?
Yeah, okay. The tutu and the mop are the key elements with him.
So yeah, he's just a little more like if Dave Bautista is playing him, basically.
Yep.
It's Drax as the Toxic Avenger, but yeah, that one's on my list as well. So that and for when that comes out, I guess I'll have to be revisiting those movies. So.
Yep, and the animated shows.
I don't think I've seen the animated.
Oh, they're fun. The Toxic Crusaders, those were fun ones too.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that. Speaking of fun, once again, I'm very easy sell when it comes to titles. This is Fry Guys, and subtitle is Batter of the Bands. The Fry Guys are ready to rock in Spudtown's very first Batter of the Bands. Curly, Sweets, and Waffle want to win a music contest. There's 10,000 sprouts on the line, but with stage fright, but Fry-T, trickery, and talented lineup, can the Fry Guys prevail? Fry Guys, Batter of the Bands is all about some good, healthy, greasy competition. Will you have fries with that? Oh, I'll definitely have fries with that. We are talking about Fry Guys, Batter of the Bands. I am 100% on board for that. Kirby?
Another one I was really happy to see appear for Halloween was The 9 Lives of Salem by Archie's Chilling Adventures. Salem was once a powerful warlock whose misuse of powers led him to live the rest of his life in servitude, acting as a cat familiar to a family of witches. But even in feline form, he can't escape the sins of his past. And when some familiar faces return seeking revenge, he might just use up all his 9 lives trying to save himself from their wrath. And they could give us 9 issues, and I would have been happy too. But yeah, that's awesome.
Next up for me is I jump in and out of Grimm Fairy Tales, and they have a 2024 Halloween special for Cinderella's Monster Mash. Let's see. Cinderella isn't really into dancing with a bunch of creepy dorks, but she has an extreme FOMO when it comes to parties. So when she crashes or is invited to get together at this spooky castle full of weirdos, she can't say no to one late night with some eerie sights, mad scientist nerds, vampires, mummies, and supernatural freaks galore. But to their surprise, she might just mash them all into some unrecognizable monster goop. That is, if they don't turn her into one of the undead before the night's over. Don't miss the party of the century, or at least 2024. So yeah, Grim Fairy Tales just kind of taken. Oh, yep, Kirby's got the full image on there. The Monster Mash grabbed my attention, and reading that synopsis was a lot of fun. So yeah, that's a lot of cool covers. I like the one with the werewolf with like the cone, the like the dog,
Yeah.
whatever that medical cone that dogs wear and stuff, and there's a werewolf with it. So, yeah, this looks like a lot of fun. So I'm always down for a random one shot special from Grim Fairy Tales. Kirby.
Yeah, I gotta get that vampire cover, but now I didn't even really notice the cone werewolf one because I was so focused on the vampire. But yeah, it's gonna be a tough choice.
Good.
We got the Bunnyman's Furry Nightmare. Speaking of the Bunnyman, it's a one shot by Nick Bermel and Une Desirate. An innocent trip to FurryCon leads Floyd the Bunnyman and Jack the Jackalope down rabbit hole of secret societies and wacky celebrities. Will the dynamic duo make it out alive, or will they end up as trophies? Find out in Bunnyman's Furry Nightmare. But yeah, he's not with Mangoat in this run, but looks like there's a lot of fun characters in there, so should be interesting.
This one here is love the design of this cover. We're talking about Godzilla's Monsterpiece Theater #1. This is from Tom Scioli, who's done some work with the Fantastic Four Grand Design and the Jack Kirby, The Epic Life of the King of Comics. I know I talked about that Jack Kirby book here on this show. Godzilla takes on his greatest foe yet, The Great Gatsby. The year is 1922. Mysterious man of luxury Gatsby continues to throw parties from his palatial Long Island estate, all in hopes of attracting the attention of his love, Daisy Buchanan. But his affair is interrupted as his party attracts the one thing more dangerous than love, Godzilla. Now Gatsby has no choice but to turn his undying will away from his love of Daisy and onto revenge against the monster who destroyed his home. There's a lot more in there, but Tom Scioli does a bunch of work. Scioli? I forget. But yeah, does a ton of awesome work. I have no attachment to The Great Gatsby or anything like that. I have a feeling each issue is probably tackling a different literary piece of work, but this cover is awesome, and that concept of just throwing Godzilla into existing stories like that is such a cool thing. And the title of Monsterpiece Theater, I am all over this.
That sounds really good. Thank you for highlighting it. I kind of want to try that.
Yeah, and I would have to read into it, but I'm fairly certain like each, I don't know how long it's going, but I think each issue would be probably a different
Hmm.
book or something or play or whatever. All right, Kirby.
Is that the only Godzilla thing you're mentioning?
I think so.
Okay, I just wanted to say if there's any Godzilla fans out there, they also got a Godzilla cookbook this month.
I didn't go through that section yet. No, I didn't know that.
Okay, yeah. If I come across it, I'll show it. But
Okay.
I got Vampiro Rockabilly Apocalypse #1. Not sure if I'm going to jump on it or wait for the trade because they're not saying how many issues yet. So until I find that out, we'll see what happens. But every guitarist knows his name. His performances are the stuff of legend. He's played all over the world, but his face has never graced a single concert poster. He's never advertised, he just appears. In this action-packed, double-sized first issue, we meet Everett Holden, an Austin music blogger who sets out to discover the truth behind the urban legend known only as Vampiro, an underground guitarist that seemingly existed for over a century. Instead, he finds himself dragged into the middle of a shadowy conflict of biblical proportions. Join Vampiro, Luchadora Estrella Nocturna, and Everett as they hurtle down Route 66 in a 1955 Pontiac Bonneville on a quest to save the world. It's a tale filled with monsters, muscle cars, luchadors, cops, clowns, nuns, guns, demons, blood, and plenty of barbecue as our heroes race against time and a whole host of enemies to try and thwart a secret plan to jumpstart the apocalypse. When I first seen this, I thought Vampiro, the wrestler, because he's luchador. So I instantly thought this has something to do with that. But I don't know if it does or not, because it does have luchador interest in it. But yeah, we'll see how many issues they got.
Forgot about that guy, but now I can picture it perfectly. This is another great cover and title cell. Kay's car can go anywhere. Kay's car can go anywhere. Join Jay and Kay on a breathtaking graphic novel adventure as they go on the ultimate road trip in the world's greatest car. Tadpole Jay is ready for a lazy Saturday in Lily Pad City, but his big sister Frog Kay has other plans. They're going on a road trip. Kay built a spectacular car that can go anywhere, so Jay packs them up a picnic lunch and off they go, beyond the lakeside cliffs, through the spiky spike forest, and past the doomed city of Fafa. But when the road gets blocked at the Waterfall Mountains, they get stopped right in their tracks. Or do they? Because when Kay says her car can go anywhere, she really means anywhere. This cover here just has me laughing. This looks adorable. This looks fun. I am so on board for everything that's happening. Once again, I think this is the biggest month for bunch of creators that I am not werewolf that I'm not aware of that are just selling it right there on the cover and the title. So I am excited to go anywhere with Kay's car.
I came across the Godzilla cookbook there. It's like they got Guaczilla for their guac with the avocado with the eyeball on it to make it look like Godzilla. And the little spines with the chips. And then they got a Tokyo train car sandwich all cut up, looking like a train falling off the train tracks. But yeah, that's great for Godzilla fans.
Yeah, I'll be sending that over to a friend. They might they love cooking and Godzilla. So
my next one is Hack Slash Body Bags #1 by Tim Seeley, Stefano Casilla, and Steve Kurth. Jason Pearson's legendary creations return to comics. When slasher hunters Casey Hack and Vlad roll into Terminus, Georgia, in search of a killer, they're instantly up to their butts in bounty hunters. Meanwhile, Mac Clownface Delgado needs to school his daughter Panda in the ways of body bagging, and it needs to happen quickly, which means a private school lock-in for baggers in training, and a teen slicing slasher. Yeah, big knives, short skirts, and swear words are gonna start flying. Worlds collide in the most twisted crossover of 2024 that reintroduces the cult favorite crew of body bags from Eisner, from Tim Seeley and Stefano Casilli. They just left a school that I was hoping we'd hear more from. Now they're going to a different school, so hopefully this one's as much fun.
Murder Kingdom #1, Fred Van Lente and Chris Panda. You must be this tall to die. Once upon a time, in a strange land called Florida, a mass psycho starts murdering cast members of the Storybook Kingdom theme park in ways identical to the gory original Grimm's fairy tales. Princess turned detective Tanith is the only person who can unmask the killer before she and her friends are all dying unhappily never after. Tune-themed terror from six-time New York Times bestselling writer, blah, 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 blah. Good stuff. I already mentioned their names. This is Murder Kingdom. I really love the style of that cover as well, but it's an interesting concept and sticking with a cartoonist type of style with this subject material, I'll check out Murder Kingdom #1. Kirby?
This is another one this is my last pick, by the way.
Okay.
That I might wait for the trade because I don't know how many pages they're going to run on it, but I seen some visuals of the pages and it looked awesome. We got Hyde Street #1 by Geoff Johns, Ivan Reis, and various people on that one. Series premiere: a new epic era in character-centered horror begins as Ghost Machine launches Hyde Street. Its newest ongoing series from creators Geoff Johns and Ivan Reis. In every city and town, off every country road and Metropolis Avenue, if you make a wrong turn, you might find yourself on Hyde Street. But be careful who you talk to and what you do, because the consequences make death itself seem like the easy way out. Introducing Mr. X-Ray, Pranky, the world's most dangerous scout, Miss Goodbody, and many more. Out to delight, fright, and say goodnight. What is their secret? And that of Hyde Street. Only they know for now.
All right, I just got a couple here to finish us out here. This is Trample. It's a one-shot. When her child is harmed in a trap meant for her, a vengeful mother is forced to hunt down and destroy the lives of those responsible. Twice. Don't know much about this. Garrett Gunn, that's a recognizable name. I know I bought something from them in the past. It's a one shot. I really don't know much, didn't give much there. Interesting cover, but Trample has this image of an elephant on the cover, and it says, "Is it an elephant? Is it a monster? Or is it both?" Trample, one shot. So yeah, I like the mysteriousness of a one shot like this because if I'm only committing to one, I guess it doesn't really matter what. I'm excited for the mystery. Um, this one I was going to do some more research on, but I think I might pull the trigger. This is Space Circus, a hardcover. This is by Sergio Aragonis and Mark Evanier. Um, Once upon a time, kids used to dream of running away to join the circus and travel the world, but now that's out of date. Young Todd Cooper has a new dream: run away and join the Doodah Brothers Astral Traveling Entertainment and Fun Brigade, traveling from planet to planet in its incredible cast of greebles, flirps, bearded plankton, and clone clowns, and avoiding the deadly sky pirates. The hilarious sci-fi misadventure from multiple Eisner Award winner Sergio Aragonis and Mark Evanier, with colors by Tom Luth and award-winning lettering by Stan Sakai. This collects Space Circus comics #1 through 4. I'm assuming this is something of decades past. Sergio Aragonis with Gru. That's something I've never read. I'm not into a lot of like barbarian type stuff, even done in that style, but always wanting to appreciate the creation from Sergio. And I think Space Circus might be my way in because it's very intriguing and yeah, so I'm thinking about giving that a shot and
Yeah,
explore.
I think you'll like it. It's
Yeah,
very busy pages, tons
yeah,
of little things to look for and stuff. I got the original 4 issues. So yeah, I think you'd be into that one.
yeah. It like I said, it grew. I never properly read grew, but certain barbarian things I don't jump into. But I wanted to. I think this will be a good introduction, which could lead me to pick up Grew then.
Yep.
My last one here, I am finally excited to get something that's been on my list for quite some time. Scary Godmother, This Was Your Childhood. This is I assume the complete collection. It's cut off in the description here. Um, Revisit the iconic, best-selling, eccentric fairy witch from start to finish in this deluxe compendium. That's where the cutoff is compendium. That also includes new scary godmother stories. Get on the nostalgia bus and journey back to the fright side to revisit your scary godmother and her friends, Mr. Pettibone, Bugaboo, Hannah, Orson, Max, and Ruby the Vampires, Harry the Werewolf, and more. Just in time for Halloween, this compendium includes all of your favorite stories and brand new adventures of the Scary Godmother's house. Jill Thompson, I'm a fan of her from her work on Wonder Woman. I've met her a couple times. I always love her style and her aesthetic. Scary Godmother is her big claim to fame creation. I've just never had the access to get it. I don't know if it's been available in single issues or graphic novels. I really don't know much about it beyond just Jill in general. So when I saw this available, I was very excited to finally read this thing that she is well known for beyond her superhero work. And then speaking of Svengoolie, I know she has a credit in that first Svengoolie special with Art and Franco because she's part of that Chicago comic circuit and stuff. So I think she has some design work in that original Sven comic from last summer. Okay, last summer? Yeah, last summer. Um, yeah, and that was the last one on my list. So I am excited to send in that order for October. Lots of good stuff, a lot of new creators, a lot of Halloween related things, a lot of just randomness there. So I'm excited to get some new stuff into the comic boxes. Highly recommend to check out your online retailers and your comic book stores, your local comic book shops, and place your orders. Go through the catalogs. There's hundreds upon hundreds of pages. We can only cover some of the ones we are excited about. That is going to do it for the news. That is going to do it for the episode. A quick round of plugs here. CrimsonCowl.com for info on original webcomics. Crimson Cowl Comic Club on iTunes. Subscribe, rate, and review for the audio version. If you want the video version, which includes special episodes that don't get the audio treatment, go to Crimson Cowl Comic Club on YouTube. And one of those episodes will be out or coming out. Just keep refreshing the feeds. But we had another one of our Crimson Cowl Comic Club creator interviews. You're wondering, who did we get this time? Who did you shell out the money for? Whose agents did you talk to book this award-winning, writer and creator and whatever? Who was that person? Well, this time it was easy because it was me, because I was advertising Rice Christopher, the Wednesday afternoon special, brand new comic book that I lightly announced in the previous episode. But we did a full-on creator interview before this recording, and we saw David Gloyd join us. We saw our friend Kevin Wolf, as well as Katie and Kirby, as I was going through and talking about the process and answering questions and talking about Rice Christopher and everything you need to know about it and how to get your hands on this copy. Not this one. This is my personal copy. This one's staying with me. It has my proof sticker stuck to the back here to remind myself that this is literally the first copy. So this one's staying with me. But check out YouTube for Crimson Cowl Comic Club, because that's the only way you get that episode, because there's a lot of visuals to go along with it, as well as other things we've done in the past. But I always think it's the best version of the show. So check it out, Crimson Cowl Comic Club over on YouTube. Kirby has a spin-off podcast called Under the Cowl of MS. What you been doing over there?
Now we got about 3 hours, basically split into 6 episodes of more detailed previews.
Yes.
We got more reviews, unboxing videos, stuff like that. And I was hoping to get something newer out this week, but maybe by the time this comes out, we might have something new, different out than what we've been putting out.
Cool. So yeah, check out Under the Cowl of MS, subscribe, like, and all of that fun stuff over on YouTube, as well as the other social media platforms for everything going on over there. Crimson Cowl Media has an upcoming event, Milwaukee MightyCon, September 14th, 2024. Go to mightyconshows.com. That is going to be the first time that you can purchase Rice Christopher, the Wednesday afternoon special on a Saturday. You can buy it. And so check that out. Go to that convention. This will be the 1 year anniversary that I've been doing that show as an artist, as well as David as an artist. We'll be both there with our comic books and other original art and prints. There's a lot of other cool guests. It's a really fun show. Great time. MightyConshows.com. If you can't make it out to the show and you want a copy of Rice Christopher, after that convention, that following week, I will prep my remaining inventory, see if I have to hit a reorder button. But anybody who wants a copy, all you have to do is reach out to me and you will get one. So if you want to follow some other stuff with seeing the trailer to Rice Christopher, seeing some of the promotion and some of my other art, Anthony Laatsch, Laatsch, over on Instagram and Facebook. And I think that does it for everything. Oh, and Cartoonist by Night, I reviewed Lights in the Sky by Winston Gambro. We just had him on the show. Not sure when all these episodes are coming out, and I've got 3 now to go through and edit and release and time out. So, as far as Crimson and Cartoonist goes, but this will be the most recent one. So just go over and subscribe to Cartoonist by Night over on YouTube. Keep hitting refresh. If you don't see Winston's episode come up, go watch the other episodes. Go and refresh. Wait for Winston to pop up. We talked about current non-Big Two independent comic books. So it was an awesome topic to kind of talk about anything within the recent couple years and the last 10 years of independent comic books. I'll do this one more time to get that, change that yellow screen there. There we go. So if you want to know what all that yellow screen is about and you're listening to the audio version, subscribe to YouTube. You'll see it. All right, so that is going to do it. That is all the plugs. Thank you, everybody. It was a good time. MightyConShows.com, September 14th. Got a plug and sell my book. All right, that is going to do it for this episode. This whole time, I've been in a state of rest, much like a Fig Newton.
I've been hunting hell spawns with a bunny and a goat man.
I've been getting backstage passes to the Max Rebo band.
To be continued. Ooh.